couple weeks ago, I did a video of my top 5 flips of 2022, and you guys seemed to like that, but there was one request in the comments below, and that was, can you tell us your top 5 flops of 2022? This was a little harder to come up with because I'm really risk averse. I try not to do anything that I know has a high probability of losing money, but we did have some flops in 2022. So we're going to go through and we're going to talk about when was my decision making not so great and when did we actually lose money trying to make plays in 2022. So I cheated a little bit here. The first one, number 5, doesn't actually come from 2022. It comes from, I think, 2021. But I think it is a really great lesson, and it is one of my biggest flops to date from coming back into the hobby. So in early 2021, Shining Fates came out amidst the craziest portion of the actual, boom, the craziness, the Logan Paul boom, the COVID-19 craziness, and it was kind of a rough spot for people trying to get product because they definitely weren't printing enough for the amount of people that wanted it. And then on top of that, the places that did have it, the local game stores or the online game stores were selling it for market price, and market price was like 2 times retail. So it was just a time where you couldn't really get product, and the product that you could get was way overpriced, and they just couldn't print enough because the demand was so insane. So what did I do? I bought a case of Shining Fates ETBs at $80 a piece. I spent $800 to $900 on a case of Shining Fates ETBs because I thought, you know what? There's no way that in 100 packs, I'm not going to pull a Charizard. That's insane to me. How would it be that difficult to pull a Charizard? Well, I think you know where this is going because we opened those 100 packs on stream, and I did not pull a Charizard. I didn't pull a single of the shiny Charizard VMAX. The best card I think I pulled at the time was the Suicune shiny, I think. And then everything else was, baby shinies, full art shinies, stuff like that. And you know how well Shining Fates is doing now after being reprinted into the freaking floor. At the time, I kind of thought okay, opening packs, well, if you get lucky, you can grade and make money. That is not the mindset you should have when effectively trying to flip and make money in this hobby. Opening packs and opening products should be for fun. You should assume that you're going to lose every dollar you have opening a pack or opening any product at all. And speaking of losing money opening product, that brings us into our 4th flop of 2022 and our most recent flop of 2022. Yes, I am still making flops. Now this one I pretty much knew that I wasn't going to be making money. You basically had to pull the best card out of the set and get a PSA 10 to kind of make your money back, or pull the best uncommons and commons and get PSA 10s on those to make your money back. And I didn't do either one. And that is, if you guys haven't picked up already, it is opening my first vintage pack. I opened a vintage Team Rocket pack for Christmas. It was for fun. I knew that I wasn't going to be making my money back, but it still stung at the end of the day when I pulled none of the great commons and uncommons apart from a Charmander. And on top of that, my holo was the Weezing, literally the worst Pokemon holo in the set. Yes, I went back and double checked the holos in the set, and that is the worst one in my opinion. I am not a huge fan of Weezing. I don't like that holo. There's so many great holo cards and I didn't pull a single one. That pack was $165 or $175 after tax, somewhere around there, $175, $180. And yeah, I basically lost all of it. I mean, I could send the Weezing in for grading, but I think in a PSA 10 it's like $40. So it doesn't really make sense to. But yeah, brutal. That one, I mean, you might as well have just thrown $165 into the trash and lit it on fire. But once again, opening product with the thought in the back of your mind of, hey, I could make my money back or make money on this. Don't do that. Don't do that. The 3rd flop is something that is a bit out of my control, but I still wanted to put it on here because you guys need to know that buying from online marketplaces is never a guarantee that those cards are going to show up the way that you see them in the pictures. And you probably know where I'm going with this one as well, which is I buy a lot of cards from Buy-E, from Japan, and a lot of times those cards show up and they don't look like they do in the pictures, or the shipping method is so bad that the cards are damaged before they actually arrive here in the States for me to open them. Some of the biggest issues I've had so far are a Rayquaza Delta species showed up with a crease all the way across the middle of it that wasn't there in the photos. I had a light Arcanine Hollow, same thing. It was literally folded in half when it got here. I don't think it was packed that way. I hope it wasn't packed that way, but it had a large crease down the middle of it. I had one Glaceon Hollow that was literally, they taped the card to a postcard. So each corner of the card had tape on it that I had to tear off that damaged every corner of the card. It left like a nasty adhesive and pulled some parts of the ink off. I've had expensive cards shipped like together, sandwiched in the same sleeve that end up damaged. I have had just about, I mean, I've bought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cards off by E. If you guys follow the channel and watch the live streams where I open up all the packages, you could see a lot of the problems that I run into. Now, obviously, when you're buying at that volume, you're going to have more problems than someone who's just going to buy, you know, one here and there. But you got to be careful because there is a lot of stuff in this hobby, and I talked about this in the flips video, that's out of your control that you have to get lucky on. And you can do as much risk mitigation as possible, but at the end of the day, there's stuff that's just out of your control. And especially with Buy E, you got to take the hit and just keep rolling and deal with it. You've lost that money. In the flips video, one of my biggest flips was a Pokemon Go Radiant Charizard that got the CGC Perfect 10 that I sold for like $450. After that card sold for that much and got that Perfect 10, I decided, let's try it again. So I bought 10 more of the Pokemon Go Radiants to try it again, to try and get another Perfect 10, to try and make a little bit more money off of that play. So these Pokemon Go Charizards all showed up like in the same sleeve. There were like 10 cards jammed in the same sleeve. A lot of times, Japanese sellers will do this. I don't know if it cuts down on shipping costs or what happens, but they just shove everything in one sleeve together. And sometimes it turns out fine, sometimes it doesn't. And in this case, I'm not sure if it was the shipping method or if it was something else, but the cards that showed up weren't super great. So I actually had 3 of them that I had to immediately sell for less money. So I took like a $5 hit on 3 of the cards. On top of that, I sent the rest to CGC and they all came back CGC 9.5s except for one CGC 10. Every one of those CGC 9.5s that I sold at a loss. I lost either $1 to $3 a piece on all of those. So that was tied up money and time to lose money. Now, thankfully, it wasn't a ton of money, but yeah, I lost on every single one of those except for the CGC 10. The CGC 10, I did very well on. I made like $53 on it, I think. But in terms of the entire play, all 10 cards, I probably lost a little bit of money, which kind of sucks. But I probably should have known at that point that that play was kind of done. Now, if I had gotten a CGC Perfect 10 or another 10, I would have done a lot better. But again, kind of the luck comes into it, the pre-grading. You do as best you can. And the 9.5s just didn't sell very well for me. So I had to eat the loss and just make my money back and move on. Last but not least is that sure thing this year, that sure thing that's going to make everybody money this year is the Charizard UPC collections. And if you did what some people did, which was open all of the Charizard UPC collections, not have fun with any of it, just take the promos out, send them in for grading. Well, you couldn't really send a lot of the promos in for grading because the promo print quality was absolute ass. But if you took all of the packs, set them aside, didn't have any fun opening them, if you didn't, open up any of the other shit that came with it, the coins and the dice and all that stuff, and you were willing to take the time to piece all that stuff out, I'm sure you made a little bit of money, and good for you. You had no fun opening the... I'm just salty, okay? I'm just salty. All right. So what I did is I bought 5 of the sure thing Charizard premium collections. And like most people, opened them up and the promos were absolute shit. They were completely off center. They had terrible cuts around the edges. I only got 1 set of 3 that I think might do okay. Probably 8s or higher. This play did not work out well for me. So I opened all the packs. Okay, I know that some people think that, it's completely random or whatever. It's, these specialty products, sometimes you get good pulls, sometimes you don't. I'm pretty sure most people that opened the packs for the Charizard UPCs, and you correct me if I'm wrong, did not have insane pulls. I did not have insane pulls. Every single video I watched of people cracking these things open had shit pulls. And on top of that, the freaking Christmas thing, the what do you call it? Where you open up the 25 days of Christmas and you get packs in those. Every single pack in that was a dud. Now, I might be putting on my tinfoil hat here, but I'm probably going to be done opening packs from collection boxes that have sick promos because I don't know, tinfoil hat, but that's just kind of what I've been going with recently. But yeah, so I had to sell all of the promo cards on the same day to try and make as much money back as possible. And I sold the other 4 sets. I don't know what the individual cost was, but as a whole, it was like $365, of which I got $300 back, pretty much $303. And I had spent $565 on all of the collection boxes. Now I still have the playmats, I still have the dice, I still have all that stuff that I could sell to make a little bit more money back. But am I really going to make $265 back on those things? I don't think so. So I lost, half the money that I put into those because I opened the packs and I wasn't as diligent about the resale value on those. I wanted to have more fun, and I assumed the promos were going to tank. We're going to help me out. They were going to tank the cost to the face, and I was going to be able to make my money back on the promos, have fun opening the packs. That just didn't happen. So, but that's it. Those are my 5 flops of 2022. I looked at the clock and it said 2023. It confused me. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Let me know in the comments below what your big flops of 2022 were, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.